Storm Track 12, tracking Ophelia coverage, is sponsored by Killam Law Firm and Riverside Automotive Group.
Well, good afternoon, Storm Track 12 meteorologist Lesto with you there. As you saw with the graphic, we now officially have Tropical Storm Ophelia with the 2 o'clock advisory. It has been upgraded, winds at 60 miles an hour, moving off to that west-northwesterly direction around 12, and that pressure continues to drop now down to 992 millibars. It was up over 1,000 at 5 o'clock this morning, so this storm is really starting to deepen and intensify. Most of the rainfall off to the northwest end of it here. It had a lot of dry air on the south side, but you can see the visible satellite picture does show that closed circulation of the eye now starting to develop here around that center as this continues to make its way towards us here in eastern North Carolina. We've been watching these bands of moderate to steady rainfall working from east to west across the area, one coming in across Ocracoke as we speak right now. Another area we're keeping our eye on here working its way through our Highway 258 corridor for us here in Kinston, Ayden, Grifton, Shelmerdine, with some brief heavy downpours coming our way. We do have tropical storm warnings in effect for us here. That is all the way through until the day tomorrow, until this finally exits the coast. Now, what we're looking at is we're looking at the wind field here. In yellow, that's where you've got those winds up to tropical depression strength, 39 miles an hour. But watch here now going forward, we start to get that core around that center, and that's what we're going to be tracking, making its way in somewhere around Cape Lookout late tonight, early tomorrow morning, as this does make landfall for us here, and then quickly extending off towards the north. So it is going to be another landfalling system for us here in eastern North Carolina. Another thing we are keeping our eye on, that is the rain that we're going to be seeing across the area, with that flood watch also continuing through the day tomorrow. And here's the reason why. You can see we really do start to rack up some of that heavier rainfall, especially the further along the Highway 17 corridor we go, depending on where exactly this low pressure is going to track. But you can see it's kind of picking up on where you've got that cooler air locked in place across the inland spots here, with that warm, humid air coming in off of the ocean. There's a live look outside at Ocracoke, the harbor in cam for us this afternoon. We are looking at water levels have risen a little bit here, but really Ocracoke, it will not be until later on Saturday into Sunday when we start to switch those winds around, blowing that water from the western part of the sound to the eastern part of the sound. No, we don't have to worry about a storm surge like we saw with Dorian, but we are going to see those water level rise come up a little bit for us here as we go on through the second half of the weekend. We continue with storm surge warnings on the western part of Pamlico Sound, the Neuse River, the Pamlico River, the Pungo River, as well as the Bay River, as where we are looking at these higher than normal water levels for us here. In case you're wondering, as far as the high tides are concerned, we're just coming off of one right now. The next one will be about 1:30 tomorrow morning, and then 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So that's what we're going to be keeping our eye on. We have been seeing some of the forecast models holding fairly steady as far as that surge is concerned for us here. Up the Neuse River, especially once you get north of New Bern, could be as much as potentially a 3 or 4 foot surge for us here. Bryce's Creek area and around Taberna on the backside of Carolina Colors as well, going down Highway 70. River Bend's going to see some surge in here. This is the area that we've been keeping our potential on the highest here along the Tar-Pamlico River Basin, just to the northwest of Washington, as that heavy rainfall starts to come down this river from Greenville area and runs into that surge, holding it on those northeasterly winds. Of course, Belhaven, the Pungo River, with the way it's shaped here, that's going to cause an issue for us here. Lake Mattamuskeet in Hyde County, and also watching along the coastal areas here along the Crystal Coast in Onslow County. That's another aspect we have to worry about, is severe weather late tonight, early tomorrow morning, as that warm, humid air starts to work its way from offshore, and generally areas along and east of Highway 17. That's where we have that best chance. And unfortunately, again, that is going to be during the overnight hours. And yes, the potential is there from isolated waterspouts and tornadoes, as that warm, humid air is going to be surging westbound. Winds not excessively strong right now, although they have been picking up as we've gone through the afternoon hours for us here. And we have been looking at those wind gusts already along the inner banks in that 30 to 40-mile-per-hour range, and even some with gusts inland into the 20-mile-an-hour range. We will continue to see, again, those northeasterly winds moving that water in the mouth of the Neuse River, the Tar and Pamlico River Basin for us here onto the western side of the Sound. So down East Carteret County, Ocracoke area, and eventually into lowland Hoboken and Pamlico County, going to see some issues there. Strongest winds, though, with this system come just as it's getting ready to make landfall late tonight, early tomorrow morning along the Crystal Coast. And then there's that flush that I was talking about as those winds switch around on the backside of the system as we go through the afternoon hours on Saturday into Sunday. That's when we're going to start to see some of that water level on the Sound side starting to rise in the Ocracoke area. Again, not going to be as bad as what we saw with Dorian, and then the winds die down as we head on in through the overnight hours. So it is a weather alert day for us tomorrow. The rain should start to taper off by the afternoon hours for us here, and we will continue to get a chance to dry out for the next couple days with those temperatures remaining at or slightly below normal. All right, we'll continue to keep you updated here in the Storm Track 12 Weather Center. Donnie Cox is in now, and he will be having your 3 o'clock update. Until then, make sure you stay updated with us on all our social media platforms as well as our website. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming.
Storm Track 12, tracking Ophelia coverage, is sponsored by Killam Law Firm and Riverside Automotive Group.